Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is TheSketchMonkey here, and today we're gonna have a look at the Chrysler Crossfire, one of the most requested cars to redesign. I can see why. It's a cool looking design. Some people hate it, I guess some people love it. Personally, I think it's a cool looking car. I think what people don't like about it is that it looks too back heavy, and I even seen some comments that it looks like a dog doing its business. When you have the mass in the rear like this, it gives the car a really cool stance and a powerful stance that it's about that the mass in the back is going to push the car forward. So I personally like this design, and it looks pretty modern already, but I want to modernize it even more and make it into a car that could be produced today. So that's what we're gonna do. So how are we going to do that? Well, the lights, first of all, these lights right here, those are probably the first thing that you look at this car and you can tell that it's about 15 years old. So we're gonna change these lights and change the design of the lights as well. I think they sit a little bit too high, so I want to bring them down. So I'm gonna do that by extending them this way. The design of the lights, we're gonna have to figure that out as we go. Another thing we're going to change is the rear diffuser back here. I want to, same thing here, I think this distance between the end of the car and the ground is too high. So we're gonna change that by adding a diffuser that goes down something like this, and that will bring the car down further to the ground. I like the twin exhausts that are centered, so I want to keep that. They can be rectangular like they are now, or maybe we can make them round. I don't know, I have to look into that as we go. Another thing I really like about this car is you have a very subtle center line or spine that goes across the car here. So this is something that I really want to bring forward even more. So I want to emphasize that line more and add some a distinct spine to the car, because I think it gives the car character, and that's one of these cars that make this car special. So I want to focus on that more. And then we have this part right here with the air intake. So it looks cool, but I think we can integrate this section right here better with these vents here. So maybe have them be connected somehow, and then connect the bottom as well down here, and have something that connects the whole, this line continues all the way down here and then connects to the bottom and then goes back up in the same angle that we have here. So this is mirrored, this line is mirrored in the bottom as well. So that kind of gives some dynamic to the graphics of the car, and I think it's going to look pretty cool. I'm gonna remove this this handle right there and make some, you know, push handle or something like that, more modern stuff. And talking about the wheels, I really like these wheels. I think the designs suit this car very well, so I want to keep them as they are, maybe play around a little bit with the dimensions of the wheels. The dimensions of the car in general are pretty cool, but I want to make it just a little bit wider and a little bit lower to have that really aggressive stance that a two-seater sports car should have. So we're gonna play around with that and see how that goes. With that said, let's jump into the redesign. Let's get the work done, and let's see how this Chrysler Crossfire from 2004 could look like in 2019. The name Crossfire refers to two character lines that run from front to rear along the body sides. Their crease direction cross below the mirror on the door panels. That, and the fact that this car was a collaboration between Mercedes and Chrysler, gave inspiration to the name Crossfire. The Crossfire concept car was introduced in 2001, and the production version unveiled at the 2002 Los Angeles Auto Show as a 2004 model, and the designers said it's as faithful a translation from concept to production as any in recent memory. And I kind of agree with that. The concept looks very much like the production car, and I really like that they changed the front end from the concept to the production, because I think the front end of the concept car wasn't that exciting, and I like that they focused more on the horizontal graphics of the front end. The concept car was made to evoke a strong, passionate, emotional response, and the design team basically said that we want people to love it or hate it. Conceived to be a two-seat image building or halo car for the Chrysler brand, the production car shares about 39% of its parts with Mercedes-Benz vehicles, and Chrysler dealers were required to invest in special equipment and tools to be able to sell the model. The rear-wheel drive Crossfire Coupe design objective was to make an impression with looks that are unique and almost sculptural. The most distinctive design element is the fastback roof and the broad rear fenders, made for a rear end design that prompted automotive journalists and writers to compare the new car to AMC's Marlin from 1965. Chrysler executed the interior and exterior styling of the Crossfire, and all other elements of the car, such as the wheelbase, track, engine, transmission, chassis, suspension, are shared with the Mercedes SLK of the time and the R170 platform. The seats from the Mercedes SLK would bolt directly into the chassis of the Crossfire. And the dashboard layout, controls and instruments are also very similar to those in the Mercedes SLK 320. And the car was even produced in Germany. The Crossfire came with a 3.2-liter V6, and in 2005 the SRT6 was introduced, which had a supercharger and boosted the power from 215 horsepower to 330 horsepower, and that gave the car a 0 to 60 time in 4.8 seconds with a 155 miles per hour limited top speed. The Crossfire SRT6 model used the same drivetrain, suspension and braking components as those used on the Mercedes-Benz SLK 32 AMG. The standard tires were upgraded to Z-rated Michelin Pilot Sports with 18-inch wheels in the front and 19s in the back. So talking about this redesign here, and what we're doing is that we have the geometries down now. What we need to work on from here is the details. But what I really like about this redesign is how the rear lights are now integrated in the shoulder line. So the line of the shoulder line itself, it starts with the bottom of the rear light, and then it stretches all the way past the door handle into the front vent, front fender, and down, following the baseline of the car, and then it dips up right in front of the cut line of the door. And I think that worked out really well graphically on this car. When I do these redesigns, I try to figure out what lines can be connected throughout the car and all around the car. It's all about line continuity if you want to have a clean, smooth looking design. And that's part of the integration with the rear lights into the shoulder line. It just creates a continuous line that's easy on the eye. And those are the key lines that connects the whole car. Because sometimes you have the problem, if you look at a car sometimes, you feel like it's been designed or that it's a mashup of different cars. For example, this Corvette C8 is a typical example of where line continuity just doesn't work. So getting that right is essential for a good design and also to have a strong brand identity. So we're coming to an end of this redesign. What's left to do now is, since we brought the rear down, I want to bring the side down as well. So I'm adding a little tiny side skirt on for this car. Not too much, because if we make it too heavy, it's not gonna fit in with the rest of the clean lines on the car. So I want to make it subtle, but still bring that part down to the ground further. And also we have to work a little bit more on the rear lights and add some color to this car. So there we have it, guys. That's the redesign of the Chrysler Crossfire 2004. Sometimes you don't really need a lot of changes when you have a very specific design like this. This car from the start doesn't look like any other car. You can definitely tell immediately when you see a Crossfire that is a Crossfire. So what you want to play around with if you modernize something like this is a bit of the proportions, but most of all the graphics of the car. And I think that's what we focused on in this redesign, and it turned out really cool. I love these rear lights. It's kind of Art Deco style all over this car, and that's what I wanted to go with. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. If you're not subscribed already, you might want to do that if you enjoy these type of videos. I'm TheSketchMonkey. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me today. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.